The thing is, when you think about e-commerce pricing, a lot has changed in the last 25 years. Okay, back in the days, it was pretty straightforward. You didn't have a lot of competition, but nowadays you have so many stores, so many millions of stores. So if you want to differentiate your store on pricing alone, you got to really do a little bit of you got to do a little more to sort of actually attract the right audience for you. Okay, let me first go back and explain for you what product pricing really is when it comes to e-commerce, because the factors that affect product pricing are different in offline commerce versus e-commerce. Okay, so if you think about product pricing, I want you to think about the process of determining the quantitative value of a product based on both internal and external factors. In other words, you're telling the customer, hey, listen, this is how much money I actually assign to this product. This is how much I think this product is worth. Big question is, how do you get that number? And another question is, do you are you sure the customer is going to agree with you? Like your value of the product, the worth you assign to the product has to make sense. It has to make sense for the customer too. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. Nobody's going to buy from you. Okay. So product pricing has a direct impact on the overall success of your business, from cash flow to profit margins to customer demand. And I'm not even talking about reputation. I mean, you have to ask yourself, how do you want your brand to be seen? Do you want your brand to be seen as a quote unquote as a posh brand or as a regular brand? Okay, so pricing strategies differ. Actually, they actually differ based on industry, target customers, and even cost of goods. In other words, you have to really think about not only the psychographics of your target audience, but also the internal factors that are related to the product itself. So, in e-commerce, for example, subscription based pricing models are common, and in more competitive markets, competitive pricing is often the way to go. So you have to ask yourself, what's actually suitable for you. One thing for sure, pricing your products is one of the cornerstone decisions you'll make as a business owner, because it impacts almost every aspect of your business, whether online or even offline. Okay, so basically, the pricing strategy also affects your customers, because price sensitivity is one of the key factors surrounding companies' pricing choices. And this hasn't changed in the last 25 years, by the way. The pricing choices. One thing I've seen in the last 25 years is that a lot of e-commerce entrepreneurs are paying attention a lot to how they price their products. Okay, the thing is that you have a lot of theories out there when it comes to pricing your products, but you have to ask yourself, which price, which amount can your customers stomach? Your customers have to be comfortable with the price you're putting forward. Otherwise, again, nobody's going to buy from you, and you want people to buy from you. Otherwise, you have no business in the first place. Okay, so there is actually no shortage of advice about product pricing. You have books, you have entire books written on the topic. You have blog articles, you have videos, you have podcasts. You have a lot going on. Now, one thing for sure, some of the advice on pricing is great, even fantastic. Some of it not so much. Okay. Now, I want to give you a very simple way to price products so you sell profitably, and that's what you want. Don't complicate things. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Okay, just use a simple process. And what you want to do is, but before you actually price products, please do a little bit of research. Do a thorough market research and understand your ideal customers. Okay, because you want your customers to actually you want to understand the psychology of your customers to know what they can stomach as price or not, because the final price has to work for you but also work for them. So pricing touches everything from your business finances to your product's positioning in the market, with considerations like whether it's a timeless, bespoke, or a short-lived trending product, right? So timing also plays an important role. And pricing also factors into how you profit on online selling sites. So it's really a key strategic decision you need to make for your business, and it can be just as much as an art than it is a science, right? Whether you're selling on a marketplace such as Amazon or Etsy, or selling on an e-commerce platform such as Shopify, you have to really see what works for you. So if you are actually trying to find the retail price of your product, there is a relatively quick and straightforward way to set a starting price. Okay, to set your first price, you want to add up all the costs involved in bringing your product to market, set your profit margin on top of those expenses, and there you have it. This strategy is actually called a cost plus pricing, and it's one of the simplest way to price your product this year. Okay, if it seems too simple to be effective, you're half right. Okay, let me break it down a little further for you. So the thing is, if you're thinking about just cost plus margin, you have to understand that cost plus pricing, rather, you have to understand that it's basically a very successful pricing model. And in the last 20 to 25 years, I've seen this model actually evolve. Okay, you have to understand one thing when it comes to pricing. This is not just you deriving revenue from your customers, but it's also about sustaining your business. Okay, it's about cash flows. It's about cash inflows, particularly. So your selling price needs to be able to keep you in business. So if products are set at a high price and potential customers don't buy, guess what? You will lose market share. Yeah. And if you lose too much market share, chances are you're not going to be in business for a long time. If you set your prices too low on the other end, you'll be selling at a loss, or and a very unsustainable profit margin. So this makes it challenging to grow at scale. Of course, sometimes it may make sense to sell a particular product at a lower price if you find this increases your customers' lifetime value. But this should always be done strategically. You want to do this on a case by case basis. And again, everything has to make sense. If you were to really analyze, or you were to contextualize your customer psychographics, okay, you were to take that into consideration. Now, there are other important factors that your pricing needs to account for, like how you are priced in relation to your competitors, right? Because you do not want to be too expensive or too cheap, both scenarios that have negative consequences. So you want to also be priced in relation to your competitors, but also consumer trends and what different pricing strategies mean for business and customers' expectations. You also got to think about the overall context in the economy. I mean, if you were to think about it, like a couple of years ago when when we all had COVID, you wouldn't price your items the same way you priced them during COVID, the way you did afterwards. Okay, your existing customers can also give you insights into whether or not you can raise your prices. So start by testing a higher price to a small segment of your existing customers and see how they react. Okay. But before you can worry, let's say about choosing your product sell price, there are a few things. There are a few other important things to consider, really. So, how do you price your products? So, when it comes to pricing the products in a very simple way, first of all, you want to add up your variable cost. And again, by variable cost, I'm speaking about something you have to do on a per product basis. Okay, it's not something you have to do as a whole. It has to be per product. So, an effective pricing strategy comes down to understanding your cost. In other words, you need to have a clear idea, and I mean a very granular view about your cost. Every single cost that goes into making your product, or actually bringing your service to market, you have to know that. Okay. For instance, if you order products, you will have a straightforward answer as to how much each unit costs you, which is actually your cost of goods sold, your COGS, right? If you make your products, you will need to dig a bit deeper and look at a bundle of your raw materials, labor cost, and overhead cost. Sometimes you might have to also look at your work in process cost, your WIP. how much does that bundle cost, and how many products you can create from it. Okay, that will give you a rough estimate of your cost of goods sold per item. Again, the calculation happens on a per item basis. Okay, this is on a per unit basis. However, you shouldn't forget the time you spend on your business. Okay, that time is valuable too. So to price your time, you want to set an hourly rate you want to earn from your business, and then divide that by how many products you can make in that time. And to set a sustainable price, make sure you incorporate the cost of your time as a variable product cost, because at the end of the day, the price you choose should be what your target customers will pay on a consistent basis. So that's the important element. So market research plays a critical role in your step. So it's important that you know how much your customers are willing to pay before they go to the competition, right? That's actually the threshold. I'm showing you on the screen here an example of a total per product cost, and you can see how you go from cost of goods sold all the way to affiliate commissions, shipping, promotional materials, packaging, production costs, right? All of that really brings the total per product cost to 1428, for instance. So you can see that basically you are doing this on a per product basis, so you have a clear idea how much you're spending per product. So basically, the first step in pricing your product, that's what I've seen in the last 25 years. You add up your variable cost per product. The second thing is you want to consider your profit margin. And profit margin is a pretty sensitive topic in the sense that for e-commerce entrepreneurs, or even retail businessman and businesswoman, this is like people don't want to have too high of a margin, because they're scared that basically this will drive them out of business, but they don't want to have also too low of a profit margin. Okay, most important thing is that it's all about how much your customer can stomach, right? It's all about how much your customer can absorb in terms of profit margin. But one thing for sure, once you've got a total number for your variable cost per product sold, it's time to build profit into your price. So imagine you want to earn a 20% profit margin on your products on top of your variable costs. When you are choosing this percentage, it's important to remember two things. You haven't included your fixed costs yet, so you will have costs to cover beyond just your variable costs. That's number one. Number two, you need to consider the overall market and make sure your price range still falls within the overall acceptable price for your market, right? It has to be acceptable. If you charge twice your competitor's price, sales are likely to become challenging. So once you are ready to calculate a price, take your total variable costs and divide them by 1 minus your desired profit margin, expressed as a decimal. So what happens here is that for a 20% profit margin, that's zero point 0.2, right? 20%. So you would divide your variable cost by 0.8, because that's 1 minus 0 point 0.2. So in this case, this will give you a base price of $17.95, $17.85 for your products, okay? And you can run it up to $18. That way you are pretty you are going really fast and really straightforward. So I'm going to put this on the screen. So the target price here equal variable cost per products divided by 1 minus your desired profit margin as a decimal. The next thing you want to do here is to think about your fixed cost. Do not forget about your fixed cost. Okay, like I said before, when you run a business, whether e-commerce or offline, you are going to have two types of cost: variable cost and fixed cost. And variable costs are not your only expenses. Okay, fixed costs are the expenses that you would pay no matter what, and that stays the same whether you sell 10 products, 100 products, or 1,000 products, or even 1 million products. So fixed costs are an important part of your business, of running your business, and the goal here is that they are covered by your product sales as well. So when you are picking a per unit price, it can be actually tricky to figure out how your fixed costs fit in, which is why testing different price points is actually key, okay? That you have a clear idea. So a simple way to approach this is to take the info about variable costs that you have already gathered and set them up in a let's say in a break-even calculator spreadsheet. Okay, that's important. And there are actually let's say break-even calculator spreadsheet templates online. If you need one, just let me know in the comment section. I'll just let you know how to use it or where to find it. And so, for instance, if you want to edit the whatever spreadsheet you have, you can just do so. All of them come with they're editable. So you can actually look at your fixed cost, you can look at your variable cost all in one place, and you can see how many units you will need to sell of a single product to break even at your chosen price. So you can also use a product pricing calculator. So you can see this on the screen. For instance, here is an example from Shopify. So this is a profit margin calculator. That's really fantastic, and that helps you actually have a clear idea. Okay, so that's the first screenshot, and in the second screenshot, you can see that by entering the cost of item and the markup that you have, you can calculate the profit big time and fast too. So that's really fantastic. So the bottom line, what I've seen in the last 25 years is that you definitely want to test different pricing strategies to see what works and what doesn't work. Okay, you can't just say, well, I know the market so well, I know my customers so well, they will accept this or they will reject this. No, there has to be a process of trial and errors to see what works and what doesn't work. Okay, and that's important from a scalability point of view because if you want to grow your store in the future, you have to constantly iterate. Okay, so don't let the fear of choosing the wrong price hold you back from launching your store. I mean, pricing decisions will always evolve with your business, and as long as your price covers your expenses and provides some profit, you can test and adjust as you go. Okay, so you can what you can also do is that think about benchmarking, what I call pricing benchmarking. So you want to run a price comparison to see how your strategies actually stack up against similar products. Okay, so in e-commerce specifically, value-based pricing is a common pricing model. So with value-based pricing, you're actually pricing your products based on the perceived value of the products and services that you offer. Okay, so taking this approach will give you a price you can feel confident about because the most important thing when it comes to pricing is being sure your pricing helps you build a sustainable business. And once you have that, you can launch your store or your new product, offer lower prices on discounts, and use the feedback and data from your customer, the data that you get from your customers, to actually adjust your pricing structure in the future. And what you can do is you can do this actually across the board, or you can do this on a specific set of products and really take it from there, right? So the market is going to adapt to your strategy, especially if you have the right strategy. That's something to really think about. So closing remarks in today's conversation, I explained to you how to price a product in three simple steps. Okay, in those simple steps, you want to add up your variable costs per products, consider also your profit margin, and also include your fixed cost. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.